Hey, Clear Lake peeps. Ross England here with Clear Lake Guide Service. Happy New Year's Eve. Been doing this since about March of this year, so it's kind of amazing it's still going, but people keep watching, so I guess I'll keep doing it. Yeah, so today is 12/31, last day of 2019, getting ready to start 2020. I'll run down our conditions real quick. I checked this morning and lake level is at 373 Rumsey, which is, it's up about an inch, actually 1/10 of a foot technically for the week. So Adobe Creek has some water flowing through it. Kelsey's got a little bit of water flowing through it, but neither one of them have enough water flowing through it to really mess up the water clarity. The clarity that I saw, and I've had very limited exposure this week. We just got done doing a trip today. The water clarity was clear enough to where I could see fish coming up from about 5 to 6 feet. So I'm going to call it, at least in the Narrows area, into the redbud arm and the rattlesnake arm, the mouth areas of it. We're going to call it 6 foot of visibility. And I don't know what it is in other areas around the lake because I haven't been out there. So there's your water clarity. Water temperature started at 47.2 this morning here inside Brado's Marina. And as I got back here this afternoon, we're looking at 49.8. So most of what I saw was 47.5 to 48.5 degrees. That's about end of day temperature. It's about a degree cooler than I saw last week when I did our report just before Christmas. So, and it's been pretty cool. I mean, today was real interesting because conditions wise, when we got home yesterday, I don't know if the sun ever saw the lake. It was fogged in pretty badly, and I was thinking, boy, today's going to be a mess. But today, pretty much lower end of the lake was in great shape. You could see anywhere. There was very little wind. The forecast was for 60 degrees. I don't know if it got that warm, but it was doggone comfortable. It was just typical winter time. You know, when you start to run from one place to another, you put some clothes on because it's cold, and then you're sitting in the sun fishing, and all of a sudden you got to take some of those off because it's warm. So we've got lake level, we've got water color, we've got water temperature. Fishing, I know that guys are catching fish on all kinds of stuff, anywhere from throwing rip baits to mid to deep crankbaits, a little bit of jigs, a lot of underspin fishing, a lot of A-rig fishing. I know those two things are going big time. I don't know how anybody did around here this week with live bait, just because everybody was out of it. So I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody who had actually used some. We had a real unusual day today because I kind of wanted to use some live bait. I had 2 young kids out. And as I told you in our last report, Jim and I had a really good day catching a bunch of rip bait fish. And these 2 youngsters were just too young to try to do that. So I had to come up with another game plan, and we switched over to a combination of small underspins and drop shotting live mini night crawlers. And the bonus out of that was it was by far the best day that I have ever experienced catching some of the largest red ears that I have personally handled. We weighed several of them. We had a couple of them that were at 2 pounds, and I realized that, you know, for some parts of the country that's not a giant one, but I'll tell you what, when people don't know the difference between a bluegill and a red ear, and you put something in your hand that's 14.5 inches long, and it's a panfish, that's a big panfish, and boy did they fight hard. They seem to be a sucker for the little mini night crawlers. So that was fun. I mean, we caught some bass as well, but by far the stars of today were the bonus fish we got, which were the red ears. They were pretty shallow. They were in 4 to 7 feet of water. In fact, they were in exactly the same places that we caught ripbait fish earlier in the week, which was kind of interesting because we sure didn't rip any red ears, nor did we really see any. So it was a fun day. We had a good time. The two boys, it was a short day because of the cold and whatnot. They still put together almost 20 fish today between the two of them, so it was a fun day. I don't think that there's anything coming up this weekend, but I have heard some talk, and I'll have to figure it out. Apparently there is a crappie tournament scheduled that's coming up here in the near future. As soon as I get the details on those, I'll start adding that to the mix, but I don't think there's any bass tournaments this weekend, so your activity level for the week looks like it's going to be pretty low, and the weather looks like it's going to be pretty fair. So if the fog will, continue to behave itself for the rest of the week, you guys ought to get up here and fish, because I think you'll have a good time. I really appreciate somebody took the time to tell me after our last report that, us talking about the fishing and the conditions up here convinced them to come up here and give it a try, and they had a great day. So I really enjoy hearing those kind of stories. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun for me. So thank you all for watching. This is a wrap of 2019. We'll see what we can do with 2020. I know that I'm going to have some tough times where it's going to be hard to put together a report each week, but I'm committed. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to see if I can't get at least 52 of these dudes out this next year. It's going to be hard when I'm working a lot of days in a row, but I'm committed that's my goal for this year. I'm going to try to do that. So anybody have any questions or anything about going into the new year, booking a trip, which is always a good thing for me. I'd love to have you out here, especially if you're a little intimidated by the lake or intimidated by bass fishing in general. I'm your guy. Get out here with me, and we'll get you on fish, let you learn a little bit about the lake, and make sure that you go away having a little bit more comfortable understanding of what you can do and what you don't know what to do. So Happy New Year from G-Dog, who, as you've noticed, is not with me today, which is why I have to clean up Doritos all over the floor, and my wife Debbie. So we will see you in 2020. Let it be a good one.